It is Wednesday, everybody. Here's what's coming up tonight on News Center Now. If you woke up this morning to a snow day, but you looked out your window and said, why are we being so wimpy? You're probably singing a different tune now because the snow is coming down.
And it may surprise you, but curling is one of the more popular sports at the Olympic Games in the winter. Tennyson gives it a try.
The ceilings are falling in. It creates a lot of damage.
Also, make sure you clear that snow off of your roof before it's too late.
This is Storm Center Now. This snowstorm won't be sticking around for long, but it's doing some serious work before it moves on.
It is slow going on the roads because of slide-offs and crashes. This is a backup on Route 1 in Thomaston.
And the Maine Turnpike has cut speeds to 45 miles per hour because of the slippery roads and poor visibility. Hello, everyone. I'm Lindsay Mills.
And I'm Lee Goldberg. What a transformation. This morning, melting snow piles, and now we're looking at a half a foot of snow. Our entire Storm Center team is tracking this fast-moving snow. Chris Costa keeping an eye on the road conditions in Cumberland.
And Christina Rex is hanging out with some kids during their snow day while Keith Carson is getting in some runs on the slopes. How lucky. We will start at Shawnee Peak tonight. Keith, ski resorts are very happy with this fresh powder, right?
Yeah, everybody's really happy. I got some friends here. You guys will have to kind of shout pretty loud here. Introduce yourselves to News Center Maine's crew here. Portland, but you're enjoying the turn so far?
It's been fantastic.
Yeah? Now, I noticed Mom not quite as bundled up. Is she tougher than you, or what's happening here? But you got cute gear though, at least.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. Some of the best conditions I've seen in a while. What do you think?
Best of the season.
Best of the season.
I don't think I've skied in this much powder.
Yeah, it doesn't happen much in the east, does it? I see the Sugarloaf sticker too. Everybody represented. Ladies, thank you for joining us. We're going to take a little stroll down, show what everyone at home what it looks like down the slopes. It is a rare situation where we're basically looking at just straight powder in here. Look at this. I mean, we got 5 or 6 inches easily going down here. It's turned into a little red out situation. Let's see, where's our snowmobile? There we are. There we are. Guys, you know, the bottom line here is I actually get paid to do this. I don't know if you know that, but this is a hard job. Hey, Gutner, you remember that time you said you wanted to head? You regretting that or no?
Thankfully, you broke up a little bit, and I didn't get to hear that as you trolled from the slopes. Good afternoon, everyone. We're checking out the storm. It's still going, and it's coming down pretty good in most spots. Let's close in on a few locations. Down south here, watching a mixed line approach the coastline, getting reports of sleet and freezing rain down near Wells and York. Still snowing in Portland, but that mixed line's just offshore. So over the next few hours, it's going to creep ashore, and that'll end the snow accumulation, but we're already getting pretty close to 6 inches. Still all snow for Augusta, for Waterville. Bangor's getting into some good snow bands now. Down East Maine, still all snow, but later this evening, you will too change over. As we go up north, this is all pure powder, like what Keith was just showing us there at Shawnee Peak. All the rest of the ski resorts and snowmobile country will do very well from this storm system. It'll be all fluff. All right, timeline for the next couple here. This takes you up through 7 o'clock, and you can see that mixed line draped right along the coastline. It won't go too far inland. And then as we go through the nighttime, 9 o'clock here, it's starting to taper off. 9 to midnight, the storm goes kaput. Overnight, simple cleanup. By tomorrow morning, the sun's back out and the storm is long gone. But we'll end up with some pretty decent snow amounts as we go through this. Some double digits inland, 6 to 10 at the coastline. Mixing will hold down the numbers to the lower end of this range if we get a lot of it. All right, guys, Lee and Lindsay, I'll be back in a little bit with more.
All right, so obviously because of all the snow and the speed is coming down, visibility is super limited when you're out on the roads.
That's right. At exit 86 northbound on the interstate, they're actually diverting traffic to get off of the interstate at this hour. Some areas experiencing white out conditions, and the storm is going right up that 95 corridor. Let's check in with Chris Costa, who's live from Cumberland at a rest stop where he's taking a look at those road conditions. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Lee and Lindsay, this rest stop has been one of those common places for those Maine Turnpike Authority plow truck drivers to come in and turn around, clear off some snow, and continue on their route. Every single plow truck that the Maine Turnpike Authority owns is out on the roads right now. Obviously, the MTA also reduced the speeds on the highway to 45 miles an hour all the way from Kittery to exit 109 in Augusta. That's very common in this type of weather. They're doing everything they can to make it safer for drivers, but some people we spoke to say that other drivers aren't doing their part.
Snow falling all over the state makes for a tricky commute. Some drivers pulling over to clear the snow and ice from their windshields.
Messy, slippery, dangerous. Not fun.
The storm travels the entire length of the I-95 corridor. Every plow driver for the Maine Turnpike Authority is out scraping the roads clean. Still, some people choose not to drive differently in the snow.
And just try to keep your head on straight and basically watch everybody else.
Truckers like Richard Newton notice.
It's aggravating because you're trying to do a job and be safe and get home to your family, and you want everybody to get home to their family.
Even on smaller roads, traffic is heavy with people leaving work early and slow going with powder covering the asphalt.
Just another one, just another day in Maine.
With whiteout conditions expected in the early evening, Richard says his company allows him to pull over if he feels unsafe and urges others to do the same.
It's not worth risking it. The stuff that we haul new cars, they won't spoil. We can pull over and go to bed or go home or wait till tomorrow because the sun might be shining.
The Maine Turnpike Authority says that each route that their plow drivers take is about 6 or 7 miles long in one direction, so it's about 12 or 14 round trip, and that each of those routes can take about 45 minutes depending on the visibility and the amount of traffic, but they say that their plow drivers are going to be out on these roads until after the storm is over. Lee and Lindsay.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Be safe out there. So we just want to update you. So there's a tractor trailer off the road on the Turnpike north side between Sabattis and Gardner. Those exits are closed. So they're asking all cars to get off on exit 86 in Sabattis. So if you are heading north on the Turnpike, that's where you're going to have to get off because about a 7-mile stretch that's closed now because of a tractor trailer that's off the road. So I just want to clear that up for you.
Of course, we'll keep you posted on air and online. Well, how much snow is too much snow for your roof? If you don't know, you could be neglecting a very important chore and it could cost you thousands in damage. Plus,
and you look out the window this morning, the kids are home from school, and you think, you call this a storm? Well, it showed us, but what did you do to keep busy? We'll show you.
The snow is starting to pile up in Bangor. This is a live look from downtown, and we are really in the height of the storm right now, but it is moving through pretty quickly.
I really wish it was waterfront concert season. On the right there, it's going to be a different story in a few months from now.
You want to be at a concert in the snow?
No, not in the snow,
okay.
In the summertime.
Well, okay, I'm
just
sorry.
that view of where the waterfront concerts take place. Yep. Well, for a lot of parents, today was an unofficial bring your kids to work day thanks to school cancellations and early releases.
So Christina Rex is live in Kittery where a father-son duo got into the spirit of the snow day in a pretty hilarious way. Hey, Rex.
Hey guys, yeah, you were probably looking out the window. I was driving around thinking, when is this storm going to start? Well, the Woods family was thinking that too, and they did something pretty hilarious before the snow came and gave Facebook a good laugh in the process.
5-year-old Cooper Woods,
I know how to spell my name,
is spending his day
Cooper
at the distillery.
What's in there?
Drinking his favorite drink.
Orange juice.
Normally, the crowd here is 21 plus, but on a snow day away from kindergarten, Cooper had no choice but to come to work with Dad.
He just likes kind of hanging around with Dad all day.
Before the work started, though, the father-son duo was all fun on Facebook. A joke video about the snow day with their dry, grassy yard.
We were kind of thinking, what else am I going to do for the rest of the day? So I was like, what's something fun? And then it was still kind of silly that it hadn't started snowing yet. So we're like, well, let's make a joke about the fact that school is canceled and there's still no snow.
Why pretend?
Because it's funny.
A few hours later, the joke was on them.
There's a lot of snow on the snow.
If Cooper had his way, he'd be at school, doing his favorite thing.
Read books.
Winter isn't exactly his season.
Because it's so cold and I don't like being cold.
You don't like to be.
I just wish it turned summer today.
But there is one thing he loves about a snow day.
It's been a long time since I've been in the distillery.
When Dad puts him to work.
And I wash the dishes.
Okay, objectively speaking, of course, Cooper is literally one of the cutest kids I've ever met in my life. Little update on the snow here in Kittery. It's not quite snow anymore. It's kind of that nasty rain that comes after snow. And also just an update, actually the outlets here closed at 2 p.m. today, which is a little unusual as well. Lee and Lindsay, back to you.
Christina can't even go shopping while she's down there. Look at that.
I know, what a
Outlets
bummer.
are closed. All right, thanks, Christina. Be safe.
Thank you. Well, Tennyson has an Olympic dream.
And this week on Tennyson Tries It, I'm trying curling.
It gets a lot of hype during the Olympics, but do you actually know how to play? Learn along with Tennyson coming up.
And a gift for the skiers, but a curse for the shovelers. Todd and Keith will tell us when this snow is going to let up next in the full forecast.
What do you say to all the people who are like, oh, more snow, we finally just got the ice to melt?
Don't live in Maine in the winter.
Nothing like a seasoned Mainer for a good dose of reality in the middle of a snowstorm. And all this snow is setting the mood here in Maine for the start of the Winter Games in South Korea.
Can't wait for that. So the ceremonial kickoff is Friday. Competition actually starts tomorrow, and a few Mainers will be featured on the giant worldwide stage.
Right now, we don't have anyone representing Maine in curling, but don't give up hope, because on this edition of Tennyson Tries It, he heads to the ice with a curling stone in his hand.
So it's not every day that you get to try an Olympic sport, and this week on Tennyson Tries It, I'm trying curling.
It's a popular winter sport that isn't for the faint at heart.
And usually it's pretty awkward at first.
This week, curling takes the world stage at the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang.
It opens people's eyes to the sport. Every time the Winter Olympics come around, we get a lot more people calling, a lot more people wanting to do the Yukon curls. We usually get a spike in membership.
Jeff Jones of Owl's Head is the president of the Belfast Curling Club. He picked up the game 13 years ago, and now you'd be hard-pressed to find him without a stone in hand. He and his friends Steve West and Justin Sanderson teach me how to play the game.
I guess we'll see how this goes.
So let's get you down on the ice.
In full disclosure, I never understood how this game works.
You're going to step on that.
Okay.
Okay? And that's the foot that's going to slide out. And you're going to actually put that foot, bend your knee, and have it underneath you. And you're going to drag your left leg behind you.
Let's see. First, Jones teaches me how to set up my shot. The object of the game is to land your stone as close as possible to the target or button on the other side. I'm left-handed, so I initially learned to play the left-handed way, but as you can see,
nope,
that doesn't really work out too well.
I'll get this someday.
So I start curling with my right, and that's when I started to get things somewhat right. The game's all about focus and strategy.
Oh, we're getting close.
Throw the stone too softly, and your shot may not count because you didn't pass the hog line. But throw it too hard, and your shot can travel out of play. Sweeping is also a big part of the game. Teammates use brooms to reduce friction between the ice and stone, giving it an extra kick to travel further. We split up into teams of 2. I try shooting and sweeping for my team, and a few of my shots aren't too far from the target.
We have people come in and they know nothing about the sport. After repetition, they get a hang of it.
I show more promise in throwing than sweeping, but I'm not quite ready for the Olympics.
Despite what the scoreboard says, I had a lot of fun, and I think I'm really getting the hang of it. And you know what I always say, if I can try it, so can you. And Olympic curling starts tonight at midnight on NBC Sports Network. Team USA against Olympic athletes from Russia. Guys.
All right, Tennyson, thank you very much. We're going to go from the ice to the slopes, where Keith has just had such a hard day. He's hanging out with some skis.
All right, Keith, what's the latest up there?
Hey guys, it is throwing down snow here in Bridgeton at Shawnee Peak. We're never disappointed when we come out in this direction for snow. We're getting into some of the better bands. No hint of changing over here. It is still powder, if anything. In fact, when you look at the composition, this is something you rarely see in the east, right? Look at my skis and look at the amount of snow. In fact, it's slowing me down because there's so much powder left over here. Some of it's bumped up, but in general, it is just straight powder out here right now. Looks like the West Coast, something you don't see very often in the east. I mean, we're looking at probably another 5 or 6 inches here in Bridgeton, Shawnee Peak, the whole area around Raymond and into Freiburg. So this is going to be sweet, especially tomorrow and into the weekend as well. Todd, I know I took some of your time, so I'm going to give it back to you so you can do the real weather. In the meantime,
your perfect turns,
I'll see y'all later.
Just for the record, you're not working today. I'm docking you a vacation day, just for the record, okay? All right, temps out there, out on the water, are above freezing. You can see a little coastal front setting up, and this warmth is trying to work in. It's succeeding at mixing over now. And we're starting to get some sleet pellets in Portland. We've mixed over to sleet and freezing rain to the south. So this is going to kind of cut down snow totals along the south coast quite a bit. Inland, though, really heavy snow continues, and that's working up through where Keith is right now. Down East Maine, still all snow. We'll get that mix to come ashore in a couple of hours. Bangor about to get into some heavier snow. Visibility has been reduced quite a bit this afternoon, and it's all snow off to the north and west, and it's going to be super good powder up here to have some fun in for the next couple of days. So the timeline shows that mixing line draped right along the coast. Now, it's not going to penetrate too far inland. Don't expect sleet or freezing rain in Lewiston or Augusta, probably not in Bangor either. We get to 9 o'clock, notice those heavy snow bands are tapering off, and then 9 to midnight, everything is out of here. By tomorrow morning, skies are clearing. We'll probably get the sunrise, and we'll see that sun all day long. So again, snowfall amounts, especially along the coastline here, are going to be held down into the low end of this range. Across southern York County, you're already done with accumulating snow. Inland, though, there's a good bet that you get to double digits. And then the same thing for the down east coastline, 6 to 10 for Ellsworth, but along those islands and peninsulas that jut out, it's closer to 6. And then Bangor, back through Waterville, and on up to Dover, Foxcroft, you're in that double-digit zone. Sun is back tomorrow. Really nice winter day. A bit breezy, a bit cold, but nothing too bad. Friday also a quiet winter day, but a weak system Friday night and Saturday will give us a little more light snow, and that's probably just a couple of inches. Marine forecast, small crafts are up. Seas 4 to 7 feet tomorrow, and northwest winds 15 to 25 knots. So tomorrow the sun's back out. High temperatures 25 to 30 degrees. Nothing really to talk about for Friday either. Little light snow Saturday morning. I'd say right now a couple of inches are possible with that. And another light event on Sunday, a light mix. Both don't seem like big deals. This is the big deal in the next 7 days.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Yep. So most people, if you own a home, will start cleaning up from this storm probably until tomorrow, right? So
that's absolutely right. You'll wait till tomorrow when it stops out there, especially if it's starting to sleet out there too, a little messy.
Getting ugly.
Right? But when it comes to your roof, there are some things you can start preparing for now to start that cleanup process.
You shovel snow on the sidewalk and driveway, but what about your roof? According to the Maine Emergency Management Agency, it's not a task you should take on alone.
Usually 6 to 10 inches is when it's too much snow and ice.
David Deshane runs his own roofing company in South Portland. He says clearing snow from the roof is key to preventing problems like water and mold in the house.
You get that buildup of snow and ice and it freezes and refreezes. Works its way up under the shingles, and then you get the water inside, and that's what causes the damage.
MEMA suggests using a snow rake for pitched roofs. They're available at most hardware stores.
They'll go up to like 15 to 20 feet.
When it's time to go up on the roof, pay attention to the placement of the ladder.
Make sure the claws are in the ground. There's some claws there. You really want those to dig into the ground. Up on the roof. Hey, Lindsay's up on the roof. Hey, Lindsay. All right, superstar. Drag the snow off the roof. This works awesome. So another thing we use on the roof is a scoop. These work awesome. When you get that buildup of snow and ice, you can scrape the roof down.
So we went over the basics if you have a shingled roof, but what about metal? You'll have to use more caution below.
It's dangerous because when it does come off, it comes off at once. So people down below on the ground, it can be dangerous.
MEMA and Deshane both suggest hiring a professional to stay safe, but it can be an expensive task.
This can run between $300 and $500 per house, but you definitely want to get that off the roof.
And another pro tip, don't use road salt on your roof because it'll just burn away the asphalt. Instead, look for calcium chloride. It'll be a little more easier on the surface of your roof. All right, let's check in with Cindy Williams to see what's coming up at 5:30 on News Center Maine. Hey, Cindy.
It would not be a storm center if we didn't check in with Don Kerrigan and his cats in the Mid-Coast. Don is going to have a live report on the conditions in that part of the state. Plus, lost on the lake, how Maine game wardens are making sure ice fishermen are able to find their way back home when it's dark and stormy and they just can't see anything out there. That's all coming up on News Center at 5:30. Back to you guys.
All right, Cindy, sounds good. Thanks so much.
Not a lot of snow in Pyeongchang, but you know what? We're going there anyway. A live report from the Olympic Games in South Korea when News Center Now continues. All right, check out this outfit. This is Dr. Allison Howe. You guys met her a little while ago, a physician for the women's hockey team. She is modeling the Team USA opening ceremony outfit, which she will wear walking the Parade of Nations on Friday night. She works in South Portland and sent us this picture. Good to see Dr. Howe representing those colors.
Looking sharp.
Now, you can only see all of that NBC stuff through any of the streaming platforms that NBC offers, or of course right here on News Center Maine, your official Olympic station for like the last 100 years, it seems like. So there you go. They're putting the finishing touches on Olympic Park, by the way, because they get started competing tomorrow.
And that's where we find Paul Gerke, who's there live for us right now. Paul, are the venues and event places ready to rock?
Oh, we are ready to go. Annyeonghaseyo, Lee and Lindsay. This is nothing like Rio. I was lucky enough to cover the 2016 Summer Games, and you may remember it was a construction project from start to finish. When we got there, things weren't done. When we left, things still weren't done. The park wasn't finished. The media village was built on an old Indian burial ground. There were wolves roaming around at night. But around here, the only thing that keeps me up is my roommate snoring. This place has been a hive of activity from the second we got here. The athletes are already in the park, the Olympic store is open, and the party has already started here in the Gongdong Coastal Cluster. Check out this parade that rolled through yesterday. Each day, the Olympic Host Committee will present events like these with dancers, music, and local culture to glance at the traditions of the Korean people. And the mascots are here too. That white tiger you see, Soo Hoo-rang, he gets the best seat at the top of the float. And if you're looking for someone to root for today, don't forget, it is Thursday morning here in Pyeongchang, and the games actually get underway in just a few hours. Mixed doubles curling, Matt and Becca Hamilton. Go Team USA, guys.
All right, Paul Gerke, thank you very much for your time. We're going to check in with him every night from the Olympics in South Korea. It can be pretty cool.
Sure, the time difference, very interesting too.
All right, well, the time is now 5:30, which means News Center at 5:30 begins, so go watch it.